Let's get rid of that. Oops. Okay. Make it a little darker. It's so bright in here. Okay, so we're live. Hopefully those notifications will go out. You guys will find out that we are live. We've got little homie here chilling. Hopefully his ear is not bothering him. I just gave him a good ear cleaning. Gave him a really good ear cleaning. And now all I'm using is Trendy Pain Oil in his ear. And I swear, I've been using it for 2 days, and it looks like it's clearing up that infection in his ear. And it was a full ear infection, outside and inside. He had pustules, like zits, inside and out. It looked horrible. It looked like he got into some kind of, poison oak or something. But it was in and outside of his ear. Hey, Debbie. Hey, Luke. Hey, David. Hey, Precision Photography and Videography. What's up, guys? So I hope you all know who Aron Ra is, and if you don't, he's an atheist, and he's a very outspoken atheist. He likes to go around the internet debating people. He's also a scientist. He's also a, what's the word I'm looking for? An archaeologist. He goes out and he scouts out sites, finds fossils, cleans them up, and presents them to museums. He's an incredible man. And if you guys, thank you, Ali. If you guys don't follow Aron Ra, it's Aron space RA. I believe there's a space on YouTube. Go ahead and do it. He is a highly intelligent, entertaining guy. And he's a little dry. He's a little rough around the edges. And he's a big, intimidating man. And sometimes when he's debating people in person, he gets a little intimidating. He will raise his voice and he will get in somebody's face. And it gets you get a little intimidated by him. But he's very passionate about what he says. And everything he says is correct. And I think he has a very good reason for his attitude that he has. But I think you guys should all give him an opportunity and check him out. Aron Ra, he's an amazing guy. And I've been watching him for years. And he just put out this fun, silly little video. He just bought a new Jeep. New for him. It's a few years old. But, God, it's gorgeous, man. He got this fucking Jeep. It is so badass. Jacked up, big, fat, brand new fucking tires. Shiny Darth Vader black. It's got badass fucking just graphics and the design of it. It looks like the Batmobile. It is fucking bad as fuck. Are you being nice, Rogie? Okay, you guys are playing. Okay, you can play. Hey, Billy. But the thing about Aron Ra is he is multifaceted. He's not just an archaeologist. He's not just an atheist. He's not just a scientist. He's not just a YouTuber. He's so many things, and you guys should go check him out. He has a very gothic, dark appearance. He's got a Fu Manchu. Like I said, he's a big, intimidating man. He's got long hair. And he doesn't look like, when you first spot him, he doesn't look like the kind of guy who would know much about anything. He just doesn't appear that way. But hey, neither the fuck do I. Do I? Right? So give this guy an opportunity. I'm telling you, he's very entertaining. And I wish all of you would watch his show. In fact, I wish all of you would watch all the shows that I watch. Because it would better your lives. You would become more engaged in the things that I talk about. And you would understand that the things I talk about are backed up by science. They're backed up by a lot of people that are doing the work out there, and I'm just repeating them. But I have my trust put into people like Aron Ra and people like, and this is interesting, people like Thunderfoot. And Thunderfoot and Aron Ra don't like each other, per se. I don't know the whole story behind it, but I've heard Thunderfoot say some not nice things about Aron Ra. And you know what? It wasn't devastating or anything. It was just like he questioned his motives, I guess. But it doesn't matter to me. I respect and love both of them, and they're incredible people. And you should be following both Thunderfoot and Aron Ra on YouTube. These guys are amazing, intelligent intellectuals, and they've got their heads in the right spot. And if you follow more people like that, you will too. It'll rub off on you. It'll make you more intelligent. You know, your vocabulary will increase. The knowledge that you have will increase. You'll get this vast array of all kinds of knowledge. Between Thunderfoot and Aron Ra, man, you get the whole goddamn gamut. You'll get a full education. There's a few others I'd recommend, you know, like Just Have a Think. I told you guys about him. He's good. And there's these YouTube channels, and they are free for you, and all you have to do is just tune into them, guys. Just go get on YouTube, sign up, you know, and follow them, and you will be a better person, I promise you. Good, Chad. Well, Chad, son of a fuck nut. I can't believe Chad is actually going to act on my words right now. And I got to tell you, I'm going to do a bong hit for Chad, because I do believe he's the first person to say he's actually going to look them both up. Chad Burden, thank you. That's called engaging the streamer. And I try to engage y'all. I try to get you guys to think. I try to get you guys motivated to do whatever. But I like it when you motivate and inspire me. And the fact that Chad Burden is going to go do what I said, and he's going to go check out Aron Ra, and he's going to go check out Thunderfoot. It brings joy to my heart, Chad. I just wish more people would be like you. I wish you guys, when I say something, I wish you would fucking act on it instantly. Not fucking question it. I wish. You know, I know it's not going to happen. You don't trust me or whatever. Well, fuck you. I don't trust you either. How about that? I don't know you. You know, all I can say is I'm here showing you my life as often as I can, bringing you the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the least you could fucking do is be like Chad. More of you need to be like fucking Chad. Hey, Chad, you are going to enrich your life, my friend. You are going to enrich your life. I'm so proud of you. I don't know who the fuck you are, but I love you. I fucking love you. And it's not because you're doing what I'm telling you to do. It's because I know you're going to go listen to two motherfuckers that are going to make your brain size increase. They're going to make you think outside the box. Thank you, Bad Blue Jaws. They're going to make you think outside the box, and they're going to affect you. They're going in a positive way. Both of those guys, even though one might not like the other as much. I don't know what the fuck that's all about. I wouldn't mind talking to Thunderfoot about that. But, hey, fucking mosquito, get out of here. No law regarding cannabis. Cannabis isn't just for all. Cheers, everybody. Chad, I need more viewers like you, Chad. I need more Chad Burdens. I need more Chad. Chad, you are not a burden. You're definitely not a burden. But you are a burden. Because it's your name. But you are amazing, Chad, and I do appreciate it. And I know, like I said, not the fact that he's doing what I told him to do, but the fact that he's going to go watch these two guys that I'm telling you guys you should go watch because it's going to make you smarter. And he said, I'm going to go do it. In fact, he's the only fucking person on my live stream to say that. Crazy, huh? He's going to go do it. Chad Burden. Still just Chad. No one else, just Chad. But thanks, Chad. I'm hitting for you, Chad. Oh, Bab Blue Jaws, you subscribe to both Aron Ra and Thunderfoot? There you go. You're going to be a smarter person, man. You can't avoid it. They're going to make, unless you're like fucking, already one of the most smartest people on the planet. And even one of the most smartest people on the planet would learn something from Thunderfoot and Aron Ra. I'm telling you, man, they just have way too much information. They're going to throw it at you on every goddamn show that they do, every video they upload, and you're going to learn a ton. Aron Ra is fantastic, man. And if you guys don't know him, I'll gladly be the person to introduce you to him. You need to check out Aron Ra on the street debating some folk, and then you'll see what he's about. Because he's got no fear. He doesn't fear any man. And I love that about Aron Ra. He's got no fear of people whatsoever, man. He will, if you are disagreeing with him and you're wrong, he will fucking step right. He'll get fucking 4 inches from your face, and he will fucking start yelling in your fucking face to make his point. And I love that about him. That just fucking, I just love that he could use his weight, use his size, and his intimidation for good. You know, for a change. It's nice to see. And yeah, some motherfuckers need to be intimidated. You know? Some idiots out there, like all these motherfucking COVID, you know, flaunters that want to go out there and go out to shopping and go protest and do all that shit and breathe on other people. They're fucking idiots. Okay, let's find out. Give the devil his due. Aron Ra. Introduction. These are long videos. Creation debate. Unanswerable questions. Jesus wasn't Jesus. Jesus wasn't even alive, and I'd like to debate Aron Ra on that. See, I don't agree with Aron Ra on everything. He claims Jesus wasn't Jesus. I claim there never was a Jesus, and there's no evidence that there ever was one. But anyway, how zoology disproves Noah's flood. That's a 19-minute video. Okay, check this one out, okay? Because I love when he goes after the Bible. It's low-hanging fruit for him, and he eviscerates it, and he nails it every time. So listen to what he says about the fucking Bible. All right?
Estimates are that there are roughly 5,000 species.
Listen closely. He speaks fast. Maybe I'll slow the video down for you because he speaks very quickly. It's hard sometimes to keep up because your brain is just absorbing something and then he's talking about something else.
Estimates are that there are roughly 5,000 species of mammals alive today, plus more than 10,000 species of reptiles, not including birds, of which there are another 10,000 species or so. Then there are another 7,600 amphibians, amounting to roughly 33,000 mostly terrestrial tetrapods altogether. That doesn't account for fish or insects, with the vast majority of
1 minute, quarter of the hour. Thanks, Baba.
That the biblical authors would recognize as having the breath of life. You see, back then, people didn't know that air was particulate matter. They thought air was a tangible spiritual life force, and that the act of breathing caused one to be infused with the spirit, which brings one to life. Because they figured out that a lot of animals will die if they can't breathe.
Are you guys keeping up with him? He is outing mankind for the stupidity that we have had. And he does such a good job.
So the fable says that all the animals that had the breath of life would come to Noah to be saved from the flood. Thus, the first thought you might have is that Noah loaded 66,000 individual animals onto a box that couldn't possibly hold them all. Of course, the people who wrote this story weren't thinking globally. They had no idea that Australia or the Americas even existed, so they didn't know about penguins, polar bears, bison, wallabies, or three-toed sloths, which would never have been able to make the trip to Mesopotamia. Many islands have species that exist only there and nowhere else. How would they distribute them back again? How would they get the dragons to Komodo, tortoises to Galapagos, the tuatara back to New Zealand? At the time that this was supposed to have happened, there were still woolly mammoths on an island north of eastern Russia.
I love the way he appears. Long hair, suit and a tie, fucking Fu Manchu. He don't give a fuck. He does what he wants.
The story also says that Noah was supposed to load at least 7 pairs of each of the clean animals, meaning the livestock that they kept to eat. These would be herd animals that chew the cud and had a divided hoof, such as cattle, deer, goats, and sheep. But they also loaded domestic fowl like chickens, geese, ducks, and whatever other birds these people thought were good to eat.
Hey, Janelle Longoria.
At least 7
Janelle, that's a pretty name.
On top of 2 of every other kind of bird. So how many are we up to now? Who knows? The people who made up the story obviously didn't know, so how could we? How are they supposed to house walruses and sea turtles that can't be left in the ocean for a year and can't spend a year on a boat either? And what were all these things supposed to eat? As we mentioned in the last video, without refrigeration or any means of preservation, it would not have been possible to store enough food just for the livestock, not for a whole year. And there wasn't much thought given to the wild animals either. How do you feed them? What are koalas and anteaters and bats and earthworms supposed to eat? What about the termites? They're the only ones with abundant food, but they're not allowed to eat it. Well, parasites had plenty of food too, didn't they? Do you think these animals accidentally carried on only 1 male and 1 female of each species of fleas, ticks, lice, mites, mosquitoes, and intestinal worms? Do you think maybe God could have not given them a ticket to board? How can you have just 1 male and 1 female termite?
Thank you, Baba.
Or just 2 of every species of ant or bee? That just doesn't work.
Well, I got to tell you,
That's why
I'm going
Answers
to
in
pause.
Genesis ignores the insects, saying that they didn't have to be saved on the ark because they didn't have lungs.
Okay. We're going to he's talking about insects. We're going to pause for a second. I want to answer this question. This is a really good question from Ginger Fairboy. He says, how's your lockdown? Let me tell you something, Ginger. I've been preaching to my audience for the last 3 months, to stay the fuck home. And I disregarded my own advice, and I went over and I hung out with my neighbors twice. And the second time I was over there, they gave me a hamburger, and I got fucking food poisoning. It was not the worst food poisoning incident I think I've ever had in my entire life, but it was probably the second worst. It was really bad. It's one I'll never forget. It was the last 24 hours of my life have been sheer hell. And why? Because I don't even listen to me. I hope you guys do. Because, man, I went over to my neighbor's house, and if I hadn't have done that, if I just listened to myself, because I'm smarter than on this show than when I am in real life, obviously. And I just go running off to my fucking neighbor's house with the dog in tow and my drone and go hang out, and we're having fun. And I'm like, well, they're secluded, I'm secluded, yeah, blah, 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 blah. No, man, that's a goddamn red flag right there. Hey, Nay, listen to yourself, because you do it again, you might catch the goddamn Wuhan coronavirus, and then where are you going to be? You don't have anyone here to take care of you. You fall asleep, you might not fucking wake up. And I don't have a fucking respirator. All right, it is time to smoke. It's 4:20. Cheers, everybody. No law regarding cannabis. Cannabism tisms for all. This is Aron Ra, Aronra, and all of you should be watching him, whether you agree with him or not.
They still breathe, and they'll drown, and we still have them. So if this fable was true, then how did they make it? And what about the predators? A single lion eats 10 pounds of meat a day.
Cheers.
So for every individual carnivore of that size, you need to load another large 3,600-pound bovine just to last 1 year. Once you've got a few lions and hyenas, wolves and bears and other such things on board, there go all your clean animals. They'll have to share one cow every day with another waiting in line to be killed tomorrow. Even with just a few large predators, it would still take a herd of hundreds of cattle to last 1 year. And even if you could keep all the predators fed for the duration of the deluge, they'd eat up all the prey in the first month back on shore. There's just no way any of this works. If you see this as a provincial legend about a localized flood, then the proportions are not so absurd. But creationists tend to demand a worldwide flood with every species from every continent till the story no longer floats. Younger...
I gotta say, I've always hated hunting. I've always fucking hated hunting. I'm anti-hunting, always have been. But in the last year or two, my attitudes have slightly changed. But after watching that fucking video, which I generally don't watch videos like that, after seeing the video that Aron Ra just played, I'm realizing, man, hunting is way more humane than what these animals get in nature when they get killed. Oh boy, they get eaten alive. You know, getting shot twice and dying like within a few minutes is way more easy than, you know, I've seen horrible things what these animals do to each other. And that video just made me think of that. I'm like, hunting's really not that bad now, is it? God, man, that's just brutal. These animals are fucking brutal, man. They don't give a fuck. They're gonna eat that meat.
And further, and throw dinosaurs in there too, along with every other terrestrial animal in the fossil record. They don't know what that means. It's not just that a couple of sauropods would have been too big for the ark all by themselves. It's that there are hundreds of species of dinosaurs and thousands more species of mammal-like reptiles, giant anapsids, terror birds, and several enormous ancient mammals which these religious extremists don't know anything at all about.
No, Chuckles.
Since young Earth creationists reject the entirety of geologic
I can't
history,
have coffee
they're
because of my
determined to
stomach.
make believe that everything
I'd
was
love
magically
to.
created all at once, and the
I'm
dinosaurs
jealous.
lived alongside people, at least in the Bible times. They're also determined to distort the Bible into mentioning dinosaurs. For example, the book of Job mentions Leviathan, Behemoth, and the unicorn. I know. The traditional joke is that the unicorn didn't make it on the ark, and that's why we don't have any today. But back in the Bronze Age, people had a very different idea of what a unicorn was. The Latin name of this animal is Diceros bicornis, and this one is called Rhinoceros unicornis.
Huh.
This is a unicorn. And bearing this in mind, read Job 39 again in the King James Bible. It makes a lot more sense when you see it as this instead of this. Likewise, the next chapter describes
Oh, right on,
behemoth
Billy.
as an elephant.
All
whose
hunters should be
tail
like you.
bends or sways like a Middle Eastern cedar. It does not describe the size of the tail, nor in any way imply that it should look like a North American cedar, nor could the authors have even thought that. Instead, they said that the sinews of his stones are wrapped together, and his nose pierces snares. Or in other translations, they're trying to snare his nose. For these and other reasons, we know that this is an elephant. These traits are unique to elephants, and this is not the way anyone would describe a sauropod. But young Earth creationists insist on lying about that, so they can try to make this into a dinosaur. If you read the next chapter, Job's description of Leviathan is obviously based on a Nile crocodile.
God damn, look at that crocodile!
Every other reference to a dragon is either talking about a snake or a multi-headed monster. There are no dinosaurs in the Bible. The only dinosaurs that ever lived alongside men are birds, and creationists refuse to admit
There's
the fact
Aron in
that
his street clothes.
birds are dinosaurs. But let's imagine for a moment that every species that ever lived was alive at the same time. There are so many genera evident in the fossil record that what we have left today represent only about 1% of everything that has ever lived. Thus, an already exaggerated tall tale goes from overloaded to overbloated and collapses under the weight of its own impossibility. Noah would need a fleet of arks that size, a whole navy. Not everything had to be on the ark, because a lot of these were seagoing creatures, but then what happened to all the ammonites and trilobites, pliosaurs, plesiosaurs, ichthyosaurs, mosasaurs, placodonts, crinoids, eurypterids, and other things that are now entirely extinct? If God wanted to save any of these species, he certainly went about it the wrong way, didn't he? When Answers in Genesis built their fake ark in Kentucky, they quickly realized that they couldn't even house a decent zoo in that boat-shaped building. Not without extensive and expensive provisions, more than any crew of 8 could have possibly managed or stored.
That Blue Johnson and I are checking the time.
And without air conditioning and much more ventilation than their fable allowed, everyone would have died of methane poisoning within the first couple of days. So, instead of including a zoo with real animals, which would have been a much better attraction, they opted to create a few dozen stuffed animals instead, which really wasn't worth the ticket price. Now, these included a pair of dromaeosaurs, but without any feathers, of course, because they don't want people to know that dinosaurs were so bird-like. They know better, but they're not going to be honest about that, because it's all about make-believe, and they need to keep their people ignorant. But they also had Mesohippus and Pachycetus and Chalicotherium, and the reason for that is confusing. Being forced to defend an increasingly obviously indefensible myth, young Earth creationists painted themselves into a corner and used an unlikely excuse as their only escape. They realized that evolution was the only explanation they could use to reconcile all these impossibilities. The fact that finally clued Darwin to the idea that one species could diversify into many.
I was just thinking, oh, I'd love to have him on my show and interview him. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm going to sound like a fucking idiot. I'm not even going to know how to talk to this man. You know, he does have his shit together. His vocabulary and, you know, it's just, I know he's got to be just fucking reading that off of something that he wrote. But he fucking wrote that, you know?
Was the discovery of a collection of finches from the Galapagos archipelago. All the island birds were derivations of a common ancestor on the mainland. So if you only had that archetype, then that one species is as good as the 14 that evolved from it. So AIG said that they didn't need tens of thousands of species on their ark, just a few common ancestors from which they could derive everything else. Creationists don't believe in gradual evolution.
The arguments they put up.
But they'll evoke a super fast, hyper-accelerated evolution happening in only a century or so if they need that type of excuse. If one lineage of dogs could produce 100 or a couple hundred recognized breeds, then one lineage of bears could produce every other species of bear, and so on. So how many cats were on the ark? And surely they didn't have every species of cat known to man, not when they're all the same kind. Why would you have 2 felines and 2 panthers and 2 scimitar cats when you could derive all 3 groups just from one breeding pair of proto-kitties, like a pair of prehistoric nymphorids, for example? These are a group of almost cats from the Eocene epoch. How long would it take on a young Earth creationist timescale for these to evolve into all the cats we have today? Well, there's a problem with that. Answers in Genesis said the flood happened less
Oh,
than
and he listens to fucking
ago.
death. He listens to speed metal, bro. Like Yngwie Malmsteen shit. Fucking awesome.
So each of these species already
he's way out of my league. You know, he's just He's
Pachycetus
so
is
far
taxonomically
advanced.
basal
He's
to
such
the entire
an
ancestry of
advanced
whales.
human being.
But if you're going to allow
In
evolution
so many
to drive
ways.
all these descendants, and
God.
whales could have been left in the ocean, then why would you include a whale ancestor on the ark? Oh, yeah, because the magic book of fables says that whales were created as they are on the 5th day. But then, why did they have mesohippus, an intermediate stage in the evolution of horses? Why not derive all horses starting from the beginning with Eohippus or Hyracotherium? In fact, if you went just a bit further, you could have had Cambatherium, a taxonomic precursor of horses, rhinos, and calicotheres. So why did they have all three of those on the Ark encounter?
He doesn't look like he's reading it, though.
Their rhino cage was labeled unicorn. They had to do that in order to lend some credence to the fable. But the idea was that they could stock the boat with just a few basal precursors that could later branch into all the modern varieties. Well, except for dinosaurs, of course. They had already diversified into hundreds of species, and all of them became extinct immediately as soon as they stepped off the boat, along with more than 90% of everything else that ever lived. How's that for divine guidance? I know the Lord works in delirious ways.
Delirious.
Having a shipment where almost everything is dead upon arrival is not survival. And creationists don't have a problem with microevolution, that's variation within species. But they're
Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. What? Micro what? What is that word? And this is, when I watch Aron Ra, this is what I will do. I will rewind it and I will listen to the word several times and I will look it up. I'm like, what the fuck did he just say?
Guidance. I know the Lord works in delirious ways, but having a shipment where almost everything is dead upon arrival is not survival. And creationists don't have a problem with microevolution, that's variation within species.
Microevolution that varies within the species, is that what he just said? What are you talking about, Ash? Are you talking about Aron Ra?
But they're forbidden to admit macroevolution, which is variation between species.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
At or above the species level. So they used to say that speciation was impossible until they found out that it has actually happened a bunch of times. So they moved the goalposts such that the evolution of a new species of finch are just changes within a kind. By mislabeling and misappropriating evolution in this way, Answers in Genesis figured they could generate every species alive today out of only 1,400 original archetypes on the Ark, which they consider to be specially or magically created kinds. The Bible never says what a kind is. It says there are many different kinds of all sorts of birds, but it doesn't say what a sort is either, nor why there are different kinds within a kind. Why aren't they all the bird kind?
Bottom of the hour.
Otherwise,
Cheers, everybody.
everything
Sorry
is
I'm
either
late.
Cattle or beasts or sea monsters or creeping things.
No
The
law
people who
regarding
cobble
cannabis.
together the
Cannabis
Bible
is
have
autism's
no
for all.
idea how to classify anything, but they define things by what they do rather than what they are. So the Bible says that whales are fish and that bats are birds, and bats might occasionally be locusts too because of the way they swarm. Who knows? Of course, now we have a way of classifying life forms by what they are, by analyzing their morphology, physiology, development, and genetics, which also allows that evolution can be traced, so that things can be classified by their ancestry indicated in the genome. We see this demonstrated with the molecular phylogeny of living primates, a computer-generated cladogram based on analysis of multiple types of genetic markers, which confirms our familial relationship as one of the great apes. Of course, we've sequenced the genes of other organisms too, and they show a similar pattern. Studies of louse DNA show that human head lice diverged from chimpanzee body lice at about the same time that humans diverged from chimpanzees. Not surprising. But human pubic lice diverged from gorilla lice, and much more recently. How awkward is that? Genomic research consistently reveals evolutionary patterns throughout zoology. For example, I made a two-part video series on the evolution of cats and another one on the evolution of dogs, in which I referenced a number of chemically constructed cladograms, including a massive collaborative analysis of the molecular phylogeny of Carnivora. This used...
Of course I've sped up the video, guys, just so you know.
Two different types of genetic analysis to confirm that cats are definitely related to meerkats, bearcats, and polecats, as well as dogs, bears, seals, weasels, hyenas, and so on. So they're not different kinds, they're all the same kind. And so it goes with genetic orthologs linking every animal group in an unambiguous family tree that is also connected to other forms of life. Everything about phylogenetics is an inconvenient truth for creationists trying to
Phylogenetics.
avoid the truth. But it gets worse. Genomic research also shows periods of
I'll be right
population
back.
reduction with measured
I
mutation
gotta
rates
put
in
my
the
laundry
plant.
in the dryer.
These are consistent enough.
The towels
that
from
comparative
when I
genomics
was
of different populations
when
shows
I
that
was
about
fucking
12,000
sick on the
years ago,
floor
some unidentified
in the
cataclysm
shower.
wiped out about 3/4 of most large mammals. This is not concordant with the flood, either in timing or effect. Some species went extinct, some came through all right, but cheetahs barely survived, meaning that so few of them made it through that there was a population bottleneck causing a loss of genetic diversity. This left cheetah DNA with the deficiency of being effectively inbred. But that was 12,000 years ago, thousands of years before the world existed, according to younger science deniers, and cheetahs are still suffering this effect. Now, if there was a global flood, it wouldn't just be cheetahs. Every terrestrial vertebrate would be similarly deficient. Studies of the human genome show that we've experienced a number of bottlenecks too, mostly associated with migration combined with a number of environmental factors. The most significant of these was more than 70,000 years ago, when the entire human population was reduced to only a few thousand individuals. Imagine how much worse it would be if it were ever down to just 2 individuals, 1 male and 1 female, such that all their descendants had to be incestuous. If there had ever been a global flood, then every species would be severely compromised by a lack of genetic diversity. If anything survived, and as we explained in previous videos, nothing would have made it past that, not even the animals on the ark. It's not like creationists are ever going to admit that anything ever proves them wrong, because everything does, and they've already made public statements to the effect that they don't care what the truth is. They're going to close their eyes to that and make believe whatever they want to believe. So what they did was adapt the Linnaean taxonomy into a bogus pseudoscience called baraminology. This holds that normal taxonomic hierarchies of evolution are correct, and thus the phylogenetic tree of life is correct, but only to a point. After which they say that everything comes down to an estimated 1,400 original kinds from which everything else is derived. But they will not disclose where that point is. It used to be the species level until they found out that speciation happens.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you so much for asking. Yeah, Chad, he's amazing, right? I've got him on 1 1/4 speed right now, so to finish up the video. We've got like 3 minutes left of it.
Ken Hand of Answers in Genesis admits that he arbitrarily moves that point around, such that it is usually the species level, but sometimes he'll push it back to the family level, ignoring the fact that humans are still in the family of apes, which he's already said he will never admit despite any amount of proof to the contrary. This is critical. If evolution from common ancestry is not true, and some flavor of special creation of as yet unidentified kinds is true, then there would be some surface levels in a cladogram where you would accept an actual evolutionary ancestry, but there must also be subsequent levels in that twin-nested hierarchy where life forms would no longer be the same kind and wouldn't be biologically related anymore. At that point, they would be magically created separate kinds and distinctly unique from those listed around it, as well as those apparently ancestral to it. So creationists have to show at least a handful of these baramins and show how we can distinguish them from their parent categories.
Look how big his hands
This
are.
is the phylogeny challenge, the most damning argument there is against creationism, and no creationist can meet that challenge because they know this mystic boundary they
Look at
allude
his
to
fucking
isn't
hands.
really there. They made it up
So
in an attempt
fucking
to
big.
deny an abundantly evident reality.
God damn, he is such a big dude. Now, what I'd like to do is show you guys a Thunderfoot. That was Aron Ra, A-R-O-N space R-A, and this is Thunderfoot spelled with 2 zeros instead of 2 O's. Thunderfoot. And he's been doing some things on the coronavirus. He does busted videos. He's really good. He's a
I
scientist.
was thinking of moving on from this coronavirus stuff,
Really smart.
in part because all these coronavirus videos are actually really hurting this channel. I mean, ignoring the demonetization and all that sort of thing, they're clearly starting to hurt the visibility of this channel, which is crazy. The guy who made the video calling all this out in early February is the guy that Google purges from their search engine. There's my video from February. Let's go put that into the Google search
You guys
engine
remember my
and see
January
what we come up
videos?
with. And it doesn't appear. Okay,
Really
maybe
took-
not specific enough. Let's add in there Thunderfoot and see what that brings up. And you get something on Reddit and nothing about me. Then you go for videos, the exact bloody title, and it doesn't exist.
This is what happens
You have
to
to go
me.
through pages of this.
He knows
And that-
exactly
look,
what
that's
I have
me.
to go
Apart
through.
from- that's not me. That's another website that's just embedded my video. Now, I don't begrudge what I've done here, because at least I can look back and say, well, I might have only made a small contribution, but when I did, it was pretty much on the money. I mean, that early video that I was talking about in early February, that was made when virtually all the cases in the world were in China. They were in the 40,000 cases range at that time. And
Man,
cases in
I
other countries
swear, in January, were we talking about cases being in America? Isn't that what I was talking about on the show? Is I kept saying one was in Chicago and one was in fucking Washington? Wasn't that back in January? But anyhow, he's covering the coronavirus there, and you guys really consider checking out Thunderfoot. You just go all out, man. These people are going to enrich your lives. They're going to make you smarter people, and they're going to break out a lot of the indoctrination that you might feel like I might have broken out, some of the indoctrination that you've been, burdened with throughout your lives. But these guys come at it from a whole different level, man. And they shatter the bullshit. Both of them. Hey, Pro, what's up, son? I tell you, I did an hour, 20-minute show earlier. When I cut that show, I was sick. I mean, I didn't go get sick, but I was exhausted. And I had to get right into bed and just lay there. And that's exactly what I did. I was so tired. Pro, you just got your box? Cool, bro. You got a guitar pick in there, son? Multiplier fan. What's up, son? I don't know where my phone is. I think it's in the back somewhere. I gotta go get it. They brought him to our hospital out there, Sacred Heart, because it was the only trauma center. Coronavirus victim disappointing. Am I feeling better? Yeah, as long as I take it easy, I think I'll continue to feel better. Keep drinking this, this Gatorade that John brought over. He's my fucking hero. Oh, yeah. I don't see your pick, Multiplier. Sorry. This is all I see. I just see a YouTube. You see that right over there? I see that little YouTube icon right there. That's what I see. So this is a video that really interests me because Thunderfoot's talking about his video being suppressed, being hidden. And that's what happens to me all the time. Now it's happened to him, and he's talking about, I don't think it would really interest you guys to hear him talk about that. He does full-on science. He goes out around the world, and he proves shit, and he does experiments, and he is... he's an educator, man. You guys need to check him out. Thunderfoot with 2 zeros. That simple. Thunderfoot, all one word with 2 zeros instead of OO on YouTube. You guys with me on that? You guys with me? You like Mark? I have no idea what you're talking about, Multiplier. I have no idea what that means. I'm going to cut out for a bit. I got to start to make dinner. Right on, Chad. Thanks for telling me. Why don't you take us with you, Chad? Will you go start to make dinner, take us with you on a cell phone? Because I'm on so many things. You can pull me up on Facebook. You can pull me up on YouTube. You can pull me up on DLive. You can pull me up on Twitch. You do it from a smartphone. Plug it into a charger. Bring it into the kitchen. Go start the dinner with trendy ass dabbers. And I highly recommend everybody get one of these. If you're watching from a cell phone, these things are phenomenal. These little tripods for your cell phone. Man, they're so nice to have. They're great for both taking video and for watching video. Hey, there's a hummingbird outside. Maybe able to come over to this feeder. Come around to this feeder, buddy. We got feeders over here. Feeling better, Nick Brown. I am feeling better, man. After the last show, I was really beat. I was really tired. But I got worked up and I was screaming and shit. And boy, oh boy, did that fuck me up, man. I just had to turn off the show and just... You know? I had to fucking just turn... I got that motherfucker. I'm showing him off. Fuck that mosquito. I fucking hate them. Retirement community. What else did I say? I said something else. I can't remember what it was. Retirement community. His the tone, he's got a very nasally sound. It's gonna be hard to work that in. Retirement community. It's not that nasal, but it's a little bit nasal. It's like he's talking through his nose. Retirement community. There's another mosquito. Where are these motherfuckers coming from? Oh, I must have the door open. Is Rodin to go out on the deck? Is the door open? Yeah, let's close that. What? You want to go outside, buddy? Here, come over here. You gotta put your leash back on. That would make things a lot easier. Come here, buddy. Here, come here, buddy. Let's go out this way. you're such a good doggy, Roro. There you go, buddy boy. He's so cute without his collar on, though. I didn't realize he's had his collar on for so long that I haven't looked at him with the collar off, and he's just beautiful. He's got this long neck. He's just gorgeous. Retirement community. Of a wrestler, really? Yeah, people say that about me too. I get all kinds of wrestlers, actually. I've never wrestled before, though. Never been a wrestler. Never got into the wrestling ring. So Rob Mulligan contacted me and he said, "Hey man, do you have any old video of you ranting that is like funny or just like really intense or anything?" What I'd like to give him is a rant where I'm ranting about the fact that Jimmy, Ron, and David Packman and Kyle are all still talking about politics. Find that rant and send that to Rob Mulligan. That was the one. Politics is dead rant. Do you guys know that Ron Placone tweeted at me yesterday? Right in the middle of, I was on Twitter, right in the middle of my goddamn food poisoning. Makes my fucking year. Tweeted at me. Ron Placone. Ron Placone. I feel like that scene from The Three Amigos where Martin Short is saying, Lillian Gish. She walked up to me, she looked me in the eye, and she said, "You've got it. You've got it." Lillian Gish. That's me saying, Ron Placone tweeted at me. Ron Placone. Hey, oh, look at this. I just did a Ron Placone. Look at this. Psh, unreal. Nobody does psh, unreal anymore, pal. Psh, unreal. Psh, psh, this psh TV. You never heard of it, pal? Psh, unreal. Psh. All right, no law regarding cannabis. Cannabis is just for all. Happy 420, everybody, in Newfoundland, and cheers. Because the time zone is a half time zone there. It's kind of weird. So when it's 10 till, it's actually 20 past there because it's a half hour off. I think it's the only time zone like that. Really, really stupid, if you ask me. I'd just be like, pick a time zone, Newfoundland, really? You gotta be special. Just pick one. That's what everybody else has done. Why can't you do it? Just pick the fucking time zone, Newfoundland. I want a fucking shirt that says that. Just pick the fucking time zone, Newfoundland. That's kind of funny. It's nighttime in a fucked up Netherlands. But Gobleon 101 says, 'cause reasons. That's a good answer. I like that answer. Me new BHO is great. It's 2019 too. That's well said. But we were all getting ready for it over here, Multiplier. I mean, I was warning all my audience to get ready for anything. Just be ready for anything and go off grid. Then whatever happens, you're ready for it. Doesn't matter what it is, you'll be ready for it. This would have been a perfect time for everyone that I've been telling for years to be off grid and be self-sufficient and have food and have all things you need to say, yeah, thanks to Nay, I do have all of those things and I'm living comfortably right now. Because he's been warning us for fucking years on this channel. And you can go back and watch my old videos. Off grid, off grid, off grid. Look at this goddamn mosquito. I want to kill it. It's on the ceiling. And now it's gone. Where did it go? Where'd that little fuck stick go? I'll fucking kill it. Where'd you go? Oh, did you get caught in a goddamn spider web? Dude, I swear if that fucking happened, oh my god. I'll laugh my ass off. Hail, hail the fucking spider web. Thank you, Angela. Thank you. This was a present from a friend of mine. His name was Buddy. Haven't heard from him in a long time, though. What kind of Jeep did he get? Fucking badass Jeep, son. Here, watch this shit. Go to my library. Go to my video library. Library or history? Let's just hit history. It's a JKU. And I'll go right to the spot in the video where he shows the fucking thing. It is bad as fucking Jeep. One of the baddest fucking Jeeps I've ever fucking seen.
This time, whatever permit completely stripped down. It's not quite.
You guys want to hear the speed metal he listens to?
As open as the old CJs. The CJs didn't, you had a fold down windshield and you didn't feel like you were in anything that you wanted to on it, you know. Kind of like being on a motorcycle or a dune buggy. But this is wholly appropriate and suits me just fine. Can't believe how cheap I got this. This was half as much as what most Jeeps.
Listen to the music right here.
Cost. Now this one is better taken care of and in a hell of a lot better shape than most of them. So, I'm going to be heading out to West Texas or wherever you're going to be leaving Austin.
710. All right, this 710 in the video. This is where you can check out the Jeep.
This was cheaper than what we still owe on my wife's car. So I think I finally found the vehicle to go get that fossil.
Listen to the music. I love the music. Look at that fucker. Look at the tires on that bitch. Fucking murdered out Jeep, motherfucker. That's fucking bad as fuck. That is just, whoever it is, dude, it is shredding guitar playing. Some like Megadeth shit on steroids. A JKU. It's a Jeep Wrangler Unlimited 2008. Now, is that a lift on that bad boy? Or is that how they come? Those are big tires, man. It seems to me that might be an aftermarket fucking lift on that bitch. And it's got that badass toe thing on the front with the goddamn, you know? Yeah, it's modified. That bitch is bad as fuck. He loves it. You could tell. He made a whole video about it. Oh, look. I'm Ron Placoning. Look, guys, it's top of the hour. It's time to smoke. Are you keeping up with the guy who's had food poisoning for the last 24 hours? Or are you a bunch of fucking pussies? You gonna smoke with me? I know if Bad Bad Blue Jaws is here, he's gonna smoke with me. No law regarding cannabis. Cannabis isn't for all. Cheers. Psh, like I give a fucking rat's ass. Cheers, bitch. Hold that shit in. Right on, Angela. Hold that shit in. 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 Dude, I was laying in bed before. I was so tired. And I guess I slept. I don't know. But, the dog came into the room, you know? And he started growling at me. You know, he talks, blah, blah, blah. He never violently. He just growls, you know? He's trying to talk and shit. And I'm like, what, do you want to go outside? So I get up out of bed, and he just stands there. I'm like, oh, you want to get up on the bed with your daddy? So I picked him up. I put him on the bed. He's 50 pounds, man. And by that time, I'm knocked out again from picking his ass up. I get back in the bed, and he comes right over, just like he always does. Fucking hugging on me, putting his head up against me and shit, man. He's so sweet. He's so gentle. I don't know where he is right now. Right there. He's here. He's up. I'll point to where he is. He's right here on the floor. just can't see him down there. Is the knee good? You know, through all my sickness and stuff and having to bend over and it's, yeah, considering that, my goodness. Ugh, rotten fucking death coming from my gut. It's a beautiful thing. That burger was no good, man. It's no bueno. Burger no bueno. That burger was a no bueno. I'm just wondering if they're all sick over there. I don't know if I have any of their phone numbers or not. I don't have my phone right here. I get it. Oh, it's an hour. We're an hour in. I should get off the show so I don't overdo it, guys. Hey, you guys take care. Thanks for watching my show. I'm going to give you a 20-second wave out. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'm gone when that says 4:40 my time. But in the meantime, please check out Aron Ra. It's ARON space RA on YouTube. And please check out Thunderfoot. And foot is spelled with 2 zeros, not 2 O's. Thunderfoot and Aron Ra on YouTube. Check both of them out. And let them know I sent you, please. And let them know I make videos about them. All right? Thanks, guys. Bye, y'all. Oh, and you can reach those guys on Twitter, too. I don't know, Chuckles. I don't know. We'll see. I have no idea. We'll see how I'm feeling. I might try to eat. Kind of excited about trying to eat some food. You know, I'm at that point. Hey, I've lost 9 fucking pounds. 186. What did I say? 180. Yeah, 186 at last check. 186 pounds. I'm down to. Still too flabby though. I think I'm always gonna have this scar, man, from a tree branch. Isn't that crazy? From a fucking tree branch. I remember when it stabbed me in the belly, and I was like, as a joke, I was like, that's gonna leave a mark. Because it didn't hurt that bad. I just got fucking scraped by a fucking end of a tree. You know, and I looked at it and it was bleeding, and I was like, yeah. Yeah, it looks like I had surgery. Fucking tree, man. Chad says, I hope you start feeling better, but I just checked out Thunderfoot. I love it. It is hilarious. Some of what Thunderfoot says is hilarious, Chad. It's same with Aron Ra. They'll do some funny shit. But you need to go check out more of their stuff and go back and through the titles of the videos and find something that interests you in the titles. That's how you do it. Go to their videos page and go through all their videos and see if there's something that, you know, they might be talking about something you heard about. You know, something you, and it says busted or whatever. Especially Thunderfoot does that. Yeah, man, he is hilarious. Thunderfoot, he's got an attitude. Yeah, he's got this fucking attitude, man, that is just he has this chuckle that he does, and when he's talking, he it's like he chuckles when something is like really stupid, and he's talking about how stupid something is. He'll do a little chuckle, and it is so funny. It's so funny because it's almost like a flag. It's like, oh yeah, we know what you're talking about. You're talking about something stupid. UFO Pentagon tapes. Yeah. Watch him. Does he have one called UFO Pentagon tapes? Is that a Thunderfoot video? Officially released UFO videos busted. Oh, 5 days ago. Well, we gotta watch this. I gotta watch this because that shit is. I was wondering what the fuck it was. So let's see, because those are from the Pentagon, released officially from the Pentagon. So let's see what the fuck Thunderfoot's gonna say about it.
The U.S. for this whole virus thing. What? Yeah, I saw it on TV.
That's crazy, because you know it was the Chinese Communist Party's cover-up that led to this whole pandemic.
Huh? What makes you say that?
Yeah.
All of these videos have been leaked in the past, but the US government now confirms they are genuine.
The U.S. Navy just made a stunning admission. Naval officials yesterday confirmed that 3 separate UFO videos released by the New York Times in 2017 and previewed on the show are actually genuine.
So this was everywhere. The Pentagon actually released footage of UFOs.
They do in fact show aerial phenomena the Navy cannot explain, and that in fact our understanding of physics cannot explain.
They actually confirmed the existence of UFOs. Why wasn't this front page news everywhere? Well, okay, actually, it was.
So did I overstate that? Is there a growing corpus of evidence, not drunk people on a lonely rural road at 3 in the morning, but sober military pilots saying something that we can't explain is happening?
But what they didn't maybe put quite so much emphasis on is
This is
doesn't
Thunderfoot.
mean alien spacecraft. It means unidentified.
That is correct. You're talking about individuals who have very high security clearances. They are trained observers. We've actually paid them and put them through schools to be trained and very keen observers to scrutinize what they're seeing.
Good.
How did I fuck this up?
Where's the pride and the fall?
These are individuals who we trust to fly weapons platforms, sometimes with live munitions, over U.S. cities.
Oh boy, how can we cut you up so small the worms won't even have to chew?
And to fight and win wars on our behalf. And they're reporting to us that they're seeing something that they can't explain, and it's also being backed up by the video evidence.
And I've got to say, it's stunning just how little effort these news organizations put into investigating this.
But these must just be weather balloons, right?
Well, weather balloons that are expressing technologies that are far beyond our current understanding of aerodynamics, things that are maneuvering in ways that no aircraft that we are currently aware of has that capability.
Because a headline like Elite Top Gun US pilot from aircraft carrier spots UFO on infrared has a little more clicking power than, I don't know, someone misidentifies something mundane on infrared camera. What the hell is that? Is that
It's a duck.
quack? I mean, Tucker Carlson, he's a reporter with a real news channel.
quack.
This isn't fake news, this is the real news. Inside the Navy's 2015 encounter with a UFO, 1 million views 2 years ago. UFO footage released by Pentagon, raw video 5 days ago, 2 million hits.
Flight performance characteristics that are well beyond the threshold of what we would consider, I think, normal or routine for aircraft.
Devil to go breathe.
Surface, there's no wings or anything approaching a wing, and there's also no obvious propulsion, so infrared doesn't pick up any jet trail or rocket exhaust coming out of these things.
And of course, I wouldn't want you to think this is limited to Fox News. Pentagon officially releases UFO videos, 4.1 million hits. CBS, Pentagon officially releases UFO videos. Pentagon declassified leaked UFO videos 3 of 3. ABC, million hits, million hits, million hits. Well, then keep those geese quiet. I'm trying to debunk these UFO sightings.
In this particular case, you have objects that are doing things, maneuvering in ways without any obvious sign of propulsion, and defying the natural effects of Earth's gravitational.
Now there are three amazing pieces of footage released here.
In a statement, the Department of Defense said it was releasing the videos in order to clear up any misconceptions by the public on whether or not the footage that's been circulating was real or whether or not there is more to the videos. The aerial phenomena observed in these videos, they say, remain characterized as unidentified.
And this is genuinely the Department of Defense download site, and these are the files. They're called FLIR for forward-looking infrared, Go Fast, and Gimbal. Now initially I was going to analyse all of these in one go, but it takes way too long. So I'm just going to take a look at the one that Tucker Carlson was gushing cryptic enthusiasm over, about how this could be the sign that we're not alone. That's called Go Fast.
And that would include this video, which shows 2 Navy pilots encountering something bizarre off the east coast of the United States. Watch this.
Okay, so he says there, that he didn't bother.
These are guys who fly for a living, who know what other airplanes look like, including those maintained by foreign governments, and they're totally shocked by this. This is one among many incidents like it.
Totally shocked. They sound like they're fucking
in the middle of the day to sober people. Lots of
goofballs.
independent
Well, what we see is something whizzing along, and someone's trying to catch it with a camera, and eventually they get a lock on, and boom! Which I've got to admit, when you understand what you're looking at here, is a superb piece of engineering. Now, what you've got to understand here is all of this footage is in the infrared. So hot things either appear as black or as white, depending on which mode the infrared is in. And how can you tell which one it's in? It's there in the overlay, that thing at the bottom there. So the target that we're tracking here isn't actually that much hotter or warmer than the surroundings. I mean, it's certainly not the sort of temperature you would get off a jet engine or any engine for that matter. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's about the same temperature as a flying duck.
Previously, they've said advanced unknown aircraft.
I love Hitman. No matter what you do to them, you don't feel bad.
It's a
Cool.
duck.
So here we've got some infrared footage. So you can see it's a hot summer's day, and it's 26 degrees. That's warm to the touch. And the sky obviously didn't put out much infrared. So what do birds look like in the infrared? And there you go. That's what birds look like in the infrared. So little specks of slightly warm stuff, because birds are warm-blooded, especially when they're doing exercise, like when they're flying.
I can't even see it.
We can sort of change the contrast range on our camera such that we can, my God, look at those strange flying entities in the sky. My God, look at that. Look at those strange unidentified aerial phenomena. I wonder what they could possibly be. And look, let's track them. And they change direction magically like that, defying gravity with no obvious signs of propulsion.
Now they're saying unidentified aerial phenomena, and it's a term borrowed from the British government. We used it in the Ministry of Defence, and we meant UFOs.
And the guy running the sensor on the plane is probably bored out of his mind, and he's just trying to get a lock on to the duck. Actually, maybe it looks more like a seagull to me. And he's tried several times to get the lock on, and when he does, it goes zoom, it goes fast. How can that be? And how can this truly be a sign that we are not alone?
And nobody's paying attention to this. I mean, this seems like a watershed moment. I mean, we have all this tape of objects defying the known laws of physics right next to U.S. military installations. The military admits it. Why is this not page one news everywhere?
Well, it should be, absolutely.
So
Planes, turns out, fly faster than birds. And the camera on this plane is gimbaled, such that, when the planes are flying along, they can look
that's
at
just
a
the
fixed
bird
point on the
fucking
ground
changing.
without too much fiddle.
That looked like the
Now,
thing is
where the camera
rotating when you're
pointing,
taking
it
that.
actually contains
But that's just the
communication
bird
on the
fucking
overlay. So it's 40
changing
degrees
its flight.
left, that sort of thing. Well, that little dot there.
And they
shows
keep the
what
camera right
direction
on it,
the
so it
camera
looks-
is pointing relative to the plane's motion.
God.
So let's see what happens when they get the lock on. It goes a whiz, and the camera starts scrolling around to the left as the plane overtakes the bird. But why does the water look like it's going so fast? Well, it's an effect called parallax, where objects in the foreground appear to be moving faster than those in the distance. Or, if you were to lock onto the object in the foreground, the opposite would be the case. So, here is a simple schematic of roughly what you're looking at. Is the plane is flying along, and it gets the lock onto the bird, which is effectively stationary compared to the speed that the plane is flying at. And then once you get the lock on, the camera scrolls around, and it looks like the background is moving very fast compared to the bird. It goes fast.
The U.S. government is admitting that they have no idea what these things are, that they're probably not some Russian superplane.
Those who've actually been to space are skeptical about what the videos reveal.
These objects are probably some kind of secret military program. The Pentagon, I'm assuming, declassified them because there was a lot of speculation going out there. They had already been leaked, so why not come out and say, okay, these films are genuine, they do exist, but we
How
don't
many
know.
views does this
So
video
let's
have?
take the simplest schematic of
160,000.
and compare this to the
And he released
unidentified
it
flying object seen
May
by the
3rd.
fighter plane.
These aircraft carriers that many
5
of these
days ago.
UFOs have been interacting with, obviously these are billion-dollar assets. And if the official position of the most powerful navy in the world is, frankly, little more than, we don't know what this is, I don't think that's good enough.
And I'm sure there's people out there who will say the mere fact that it's parallax is proof that it's aliens.
All the threats to core ever faced the gravest was an entity of fear known as parallax.
I mean, your suspicion should have been first clued in when, yeah, you can just about make out it flapping its wings. Boom, 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 boom. Cool. So what else have we got on this Department of Defense Pentagon footage that no one else can explain? Well, if you take a look at the display here, this is the altitude of the plane in feet, which is 25,000 feet to about 8,000 meters. This up here tells you the field of view. The narrow field of view, turns out, with a zoom factor of 1, means the entire field of view here is about 1.5 degrees. That's about 3 times the diameter of the full moon. Or to look at it another way, if you hold up both of your thumbs at arm's length, it's about that sort of angular size. So, from that, we can calculate what the field of view is on the ground at this magnification. And from that, we can get an estimate of the size of this object. Now, there's one last fly in the ointment here. This is the angle that the camera is pointing at, where 0 would mean that the camera is pointing towards the horizon, and minus 35 means it's pointing somewhat down towards the ground. But let's just, for the sake of argument, say that it's pointing directly down at the moment to get a feel for the field of view on the ground. So here's our plane, and this is the actual field of view that you're looking at. We know that this distance here is about 8,000 meters, which means that you can calculate that this distance here is about 200 meters. The field of view here is about 200 meters. It's about the length of 2 football fields. So let's put 2 football fields on there to see if we can get an idea of how big this object could be really at its biggest. Even when you include the fact that the camera isn't pointing directly down but out about 20 degrees from the horizon, you're only looking at about a factor of 2 in size. And that's the maximum possible size this object can be if it's actually sat on the ground at its furthest distance. We clearly can see that it's not at its furthest distance, but actually up in the air somewhere.
They do in fact show aerial phenomena the Navy cannot explain, and that in fact our understanding of physics cannot explain.
Tell me this isn't a government operation.
The things that have been reported are that it was $22 million spent over a few years. It was people like you who had other jobs in the military but sort of came together to try and figure these things out, and that there were facilities that were leased and built to hold things that were found.
So can we get an estimate of how high this object actually is? Why, yes, we can. You know, not so much using our understanding of physics, but say, for instance, geometry. And I'm sure Tucker here will tell you that the Navy, you know, despite building billion-dollar aircraft carriers, you know, they just can't understand geometry. So what do we know? We know the speed that the aircraft is going at because it's right there on the display. 0.61, 0.62 Mach, that sort of thing. Which means that in about 1.5 seconds, the plane will have travelled about 300 meters. Now, why did I choose 1.5 seconds there? Well, because there's a feature that actually whizzes by in about 1.5 seconds when the bird is locked in the center of the field of view. So, we know the field of view is about 200 meters, we know the plane has travelled about 300 meters, and we know that the bird is sat in the middle of the field of view for all of this time. So we know roughly where the bird is in between the ground and the plane, and we know the altitude of the plane, so we can get an estimate of the height that the bird is at. Now you can include, of course, the offset of the camera here, but it turns out all of these things come to out of ratio, so this is just the simplified version.
But these must just be weather balloons, right?
Well, the weather balloons that are expressing technologies that are far beyond our current understanding of aerodynamics, things that are maneuvering in ways that no aircraft that we are currently aware of has that capability to.
I think it's terrifying. I mean, this seems potentially like one of the biggest stories of my lifetime, and I don't care if it's about UFOs or whatever you call it. Something that we don't understand is getting very close to our military aircraft, and the government isn't responding adequately, and I hope you keep sounding the alarm on this.
You enjoyed that. You're damn right.
So whatever this object is, it's got a wingspan of about a meter. So if I remember rightly, yeah, just a first guess, Canadian geese have a wingspan of about a meter. And they do! I wonder what altitude they typically fly at. Well, about 1 kilometre, but they've been known to fly up to 9 kilometres high. And what was the altitude of this mysterious object? About 2 kilometres. I mean, surely no birds can fly that high. Well, what do we got? Well, we're going to ignore the vultures. Common crane flies up to 10 kilometres high. Well, that's over the Himalayas. Goose flies up to 8 kilometres, again flying over the Himalayas. Whooping swan flies up to 8 kilometres, Northern Island, recorded by radar. The duck flies up to about 6 kilometres high, recorded over Nevada. Or, yeah, if you want a bigger bird, you know, white stork, 4-5 kilometres while migrating.
Yo, Lewis.
No, absolutely not. Somebody in the Pentagon must have... They say we don't want to hypothesize about this. That's fine. But there must be, in the Pentagon, a best assessment. And there must be a view of what they're ruling out.
Sucker Lou, Mike.
Well, I've got good news for you. I actually wrote to the Pentagon expressing your concern that you had a right to know, along with the fact that you had the right to completely ignore all the information that was on the screen and to not think about this critically at all. After all, you're a reporter for a fair and balanced news organisation. And surprisingly, the Pentagon got back to me in record time. They wanted me to convey this message to you. Okay, so 1/3 of the declassified super evidence of UFOs from the Pentagon consisted of plain spot bird in air. That was one of the top 3. Now I'm going to give you a reason why I think this clip actually exists and why it's actually super impressive when you understand it. To track a small moving object with such a small temperature difference from the environment, from another object travelling half the speed of sound from a few kilometers away, is actually a super impressive feat of engineering. And I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest that's one of the reasons this clip exists in the first place. It's got nothing to do with aliens, but to show how impressive the hardware on the aircraft is. Actually, let me just add one slight correction to this. Now that I look at it again, it turns out that the bird is actually colder than the environment, which maybe makes sense if you think about it. By the time you get up to this sort of altitude, the air temperature is going to be down at somewhere between freezing point and 10 degrees above freezing, that sort of thing.
I love this
infrared,
shit
of course,
so
you
much.
only see the surface temperature. So it's entirely possible that the feathers are insulating the bird and the surface of the feathers is cold, which is why the bird in this case actually looks colder than the environment. But I should stress, it's only somewhat cooler than the environment. So what do you think there other declassified information from the Pentagon about UFOs is going to turn out to be? Camera has dirt on lens? Or turbulence? Or maybe even more parallax?
The Guardian became the very evil he had wished to destroy. He became parallax.
Tell the Guardians, it's parallax.
Tune in next time to find out. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and drop a thumbs up on this video for the crushed souls of 1,000 geeks who've been going around for years saying that the best proof of aliens was in fact a duck or something. And make sure to hit the notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on new awesome videos. Patreon links are below if you want to support this channel directly. And as ever, thanks for watching.
It says I'm not subscribed. So you guys check them out. Aron Ra, Thunderfoot. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye, guys.